Peace. Power.
This is the Dope Ones podcast. The Dope Ones. The Dope Ones. This is the Dope Ones podcast.
Peace, power. What's good? We're now tapped in to another episode of the Dope Ones podcast. I am Don is Dope, creator of the Dope Ones. And we back on the couch, coming to you straight from Sacramento, California. You can follow me at Don is Dope on IG. You can follow the brand at Dope Ones Official. And you can shop at us, man. www.thedopeones.com. Check us out. Check out the blog. Check out the podcast. Check out all the great content. We truly appreciate the support. So before we bring on our first guest, I just want to talk about a very special announcement. The Dope Ones podcast has been officially partnered with the Be Heard podcast platform, which is a podcast platform in Sacramento, California, designed to give new voices, different voices, a platform to be heard. I think it's a great concept for, up and coming, podcast formats such as my own. I struck out on a limb and did this because I had something to say, and I wanted to bring great guests on that I felt like had something very poignant to say as well. And I want to just thank Sacramento's own Damian Barling, a good brother who has supported the brand since the early days. Honestly, he's been repping the brand really strong. He is an extremely accomplished journalist, sports writer, a sportscaster. He's an extremely accomplished podcaster as well. He's just a really great guy. And, his cosign is a huge vote of confidence for the podcast, man. It really means a lot. So I just want to say thank you, Damian, for bringing me on. It's a little bit of pressure, but I won't let you down, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to keep bringing, great content. It's only going to get better. So I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting thus far with 4 episodes in. And, we're just getting started, man. It feels really good. I honestly didn't know what I was doing, but it feels like I'm starting to get into a little groove now. And it just really feels dope to be able to talk to dope people and put this content out, man. And hopefully, my listeners can gain something from it and learn something and spark conversation and basically everything that this podcast is intended to do. I want to start conversation about what's going on, living in historic times, to say the least, and a lot of voices need to be heard. So I'm privileged to be able to do that. I'm thankful that, I have a loyal fan base and a client base and a network of friends and great people who contribute a lot to this. I have a lot of people to thank, but Damian, thank you again, man. Really appreciate it, man. So tonight we have a really special guest. I'm really excited to talk to this brother. He's someone who I've known well over 20 years. I'm aging myself right now, but he's a serial entrepreneur. He's just someone with so much life experience to still be so young. I had to clean that up. He is a Navy veteran, United States Navy, 13-year veteran. And he's an accomplished chef. He is a restaurateur. He is my guy, Chef Geoff Cole. So now I just want to let you guys know that this was recorded, for those watching, this was recorded over 2 interviews because my guy's always on the move. So I had to catch up to him. He was in Vegas when we did the first one. So I'm going to catch up to him now. We're gonna talk to my man, Geoff. Chef Geoff.
Yo, what's good?
What's good, my brother?
Ain't nothing, man. Maintaining, trying to make it as always.
Hey, you making it, my guy. You inspiring me, man.
You said I got that King shirt, huh?
Hey.
Good off design.
Shit is looking dope, my dude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I mean, it's doing all right, too.
That's what's up. That's because you doing all right. You doing better than all right, man. that's a reflection of you. How your merch moves is all depending on how you move. You feel me?
Facts.
And you
Okay.
definitely, I mean, from day one, man, you've been inspiring me, my bro.
Appreciate that, man.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. So yeah, real quick, I know you get a little pressed for time, man. So we just gonna jump right into it. You know, this is a podcast about Black entrepreneurs, Black fathers, and you know, the quintessential truth to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
doing your thing, man. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about, you know, your path, you know, to becoming an entrepreneur. Like what set in motion, you know, the events that took place to where you got on that path.
Man, you know, that entrepreneur life is real. First, a lot of people I think they need to go and get deep down and figure out what's the definition of an entrepreneur. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
because everybody calls themselves an entrepreneur, but
Right.
entrepreneurship is different than a small business owner. You know what I'm saying? Just because you have a small business, that don't mean you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So I had to even look it up. Like, I'm like, why do I think like this? A lot of times I'll start something before I figure out how to do it completely, and I'll figure it out as I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I put everything I got on the line to get it done. So it's more of a mindset. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna try, and I go, you know, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to be the best at it instead of sitting back. And you know, you ever seen those folks that want to start a business and they wait till like 5 years to put all the pieces in play? They put all the puzzles to be like, I'm gonna start my business, but first I want to do this. I want to make sure that's right. I can get a job. They line everything up. Most entrepreneurs jump in the fire, like, yo, I want to get it done now. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take whatever cash I have and knowledge I have to get it done.
Exactly.
So it's more of being hunger. So that entrepreneurship is more of like, you need it to breathe.
Yeah, man. Yo, I love not to cut you off, bro, but I love the post that you had on your page where you were like, you see this meat? Y'all go to the store and buy this. Me, you grab the Chef Geoff knife. I gotta go to the jungle.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy, bro, because we in the trenches. Real entrepreneurs, just you gotta, you know, thrive in the trenches before you make it to the mountaintop.
Facts. I remember that because everybody sees the simple part of the output. They don't know all the deep. You know, somebody had to go out there that jungle and actually go hunt the meat and go get it. All you see is meat on your table.
Yes, sir. No, that shit is a great analogy, bro. So like, okay, man, I'm trying to like, you've done so many things, dude. You know, being a chef. First of all, you're a United States Navy veteran.
Yeah. 13 years.
Service. Thank you for your service. My brother's he's a chief in the Navy right now. My brother Brian Reed.
Okay, yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, man. So, you know, major salute to that. Got the young king in the back. It's all good.
Yeah.
But you went on to, you know, becoming a professional chef in civilian life. Then you became a restaurant owner in San Diego.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit, man. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to, you know, talk about. But tell us a little bit about.
I go down the path.
Yeah, tell us about the path, bro.
When I was in the Navy, it goes for being hungry, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna tell you how it all started. I remember I was in the Navy, and it was my 10-year mark. I realized I didn't have control of my life, and I was like, man, I want to be in control of my life. So I was like, I'm not, you know, I'm getting out at this certain time. So I started grinding while I was in the Navy, and I started getting mentorships. I'm like, okay, let me use a skill I know already instead of trying to figure something else. I was a cook in the Navy, so I'm like, all right, let me try to make money off of cooking. I got some independent money, so I ain't have any money to get a restaurant. Like my main goal, I was like, all right, I want to have a restaurant. I want to have a dope restaurant, like Roof Chris type restaurant. But you got no money, and I found out nobody wants to put money up for restaurateurs, right? So when I first started, I did a farmer's market. I remember I took $1,300 to do my farmer's market. I remember I took part of my rent money, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have it all. I'm thinking that like, all right, I'm gonna have a farmer's market selling food in the street. If I put this money in, thousands of people will be walking. I should quadruple that money that day. No, at $1,300, I only made $350 that day. I was sad.
You took a loss.
Yeah, move forward. I just really want to have an actual restaurant. So I got more mentorship. There's like, yo, do a pop-up restaurant. So I used my cousin's backyard, did a pop-up restaurant, turn his backyard into a restaurant. Charge $50 a head, and if I couldn't fill the seats up, I went and had regular people sitting in the seats, right? Friends and family. Everybody helped me out. Fast forward, I'm doing the pop-ups. And Dale was working, doing personal chef stuff. And, still had no startup money. So I found out more about government contracts. And it was like, hey, I went to the Black Chamber. I was listening to podcasts, and the podcast like, hey, go to your local Black Chamber of Commerce. They have funds and they help local, minority businesses out. I went to a meeting one time and it was talking about government contracts. And it was like, hey, we got like $5 billion worth of contracts in the next quarter in your city. And we need minorities to bid on it because that money is set for they said it was like 25% of that money had to go to minority-owned business. And they didn't have enough minorities to give that money to. I'm like, what? So I did more research about the government contracting, and I'm like, okay, let me shoot my shot. I don't really see no food stuff. So I'm like, well, I know janitorial, while I was in the Navy, I clean. So I shot my shot, and I won like 2-3 contracts in like a week. I'm like, whoa. It was small, like $9,000 a year at first. And I'm like, okay, now I'm doing the government contracts. And then later on, I got my contract serving food, doing sandwiches. I still got that contract now. It was like, it's a $600,000 contract over 5 years, a little over $10,000 a month. And what I did when I got that contract, I went to an investor. I'm like, hey, I have guaranteed income coming in. I want to get that restaurant. So I'm like, hey, let me get $50,000 and here's my guaranteed contract. So I'm be having money coming in, revenue coming in. Took that money, got me my restaurant. Then now I'm in a restaurant, had somebody limited money, got going. And now I'm like, man, I'm still ain't satisfied. I'm like, I thought a restaurant, I'd be having money in my pocket. Thought it'd be crazy, but I'm working more hours and it got stressful. So I'm doing janitorial. I've got my contract going. I got a restaurant going. And then I remember I started a TV show because it had so much stuff going in. I'm like, yo, look, I heard TV makes a lot of money. So I think, let me go ahead and film what's going on. Life of Cole. So I'm like, organized chaos, because a lot of things be chaotic, but it comes out organized at the end. Everybody sees the organized process, but they don't know the chaotic that goes into it.
Right.
So I invested like $4,000 of my own money, got a camera crew and everything, shot like 5 episodes and put it up, but I never finished promoting it. And then afterwards, you start seeing your weakness. I was like, you know what? I'm a great starter, but after I complete something, I kind of just always put it to the side. I started and I kind of like put it to the side. So, of course, I start getting a team around me to help me with things that I'm not that great at, because we're not going to be great at everything. We know how to do everything as entrepreneurs, but you're not going to be great at everything. Right. And then it took me to, I think, 2018, I realized I needed to focus just on government contracts, because that was the moneymaker. Everything else was just my ego and my passion being involved. So by April 2018, I just closed the door. I paid my landlord out my lease, and I just focused on government contracts. Business went up, business started booming, make a lot more money and a lot more work, a lot less work, more money.
That's the goal.
Yeah, so that's the goal. Then later on, I'm like, okay, I'm hungry, so all the other things came up. I got time on my hand. I'm like, okay, how can I, make money in other areas? When the government shutdown came, it kind of affected me a little bit. And then I was like, okay, that's how I started the knife. I'm like, okay, I want to get into e-commerce. I want to figure out how to do Amazon. So I got that going, and it was popping, but I didn't stay on it. So I got e-commerce, got Amazon. The hardest part were I've done products where I just didn't know how to get people who were not supporters to purchase my things. And that's one of the biggest things I'm still learning, because I do service products. I'm a service provider. I know how to get services. I know how catering, government contract, whatever kind of services you need, I know how to get it done. I also have an IT department too in my company. So we do IT work. I do IT work, and we do in the hospital. So, I hire companies that that great, that do what they do, and they branch off from me. And our newest, besides we doing a clothing line now. That's something personal that came up during COVID. So I'm doing a clothing line, doing the IT on the side. That's under the contract. I'm doing medical supplies also now. So I've been doing PPE gear, medical supply product, selling to hospitals and government agencies in mass quantity. And I also just signed to my first, I always wanted to be in the music industry. So I got with the artists I know. I'm like, yo, how can I be a part of the industry? So we signed the artist and we go see what it do.
You a
So we
mogul
gonna
now too, Jeff?
Huh?
You a mogul now too, man?
I guess so, man. But I'm gonna put my money. We live once, man. Like,
yeah, man.
I can't waste time. I could lose money, but I can't lose time. If I lose money, I can make more. I can't make it the time.
It's the most precious commodity, bro.
Yeah.
Federico Fellini in the flesh. Sergio Cicchini inside his mesh. Bitch, I've been bracking since the 80s. Google me, baby, you crazy. 89 in London pulling bins up. Type it in, Google's your friend, bruh. 14-year drug dealer and still counting. Who deserves the medal of freedom is my accountant. He been hula hooping through loopholes, working round shit. IRS shoulda had the townhouses surrounded. Thanks to the lawyers, marbled the foyer, tore the floor up, yeah, that's for the koi fish. We been dining on oysters. I walked through the garage, it's like multiple choices. I told him pull a Royce up. I'm getting ghosts. I'm hearing noises. I think it's the boys.
So when we last spoke, Jeff, you were discussing, your path to where you are now, your path to entrepreneurship. So along the way, man, you're someone who I feel like has a wealth of knowledge as an entrepreneur with a lot of experience. But you've also dealt with a lot of, different hurdles and different obstacles. And just right now, being that, racial tensions in America are so high, speak a little bit to some of the racism you might have dealt with along the way, along your journey, bro.
Yeah, man. Some of the topics, I don't know if I chimed in. I don't know if you got this last time when we spoke about a group of white guys trying to take my company over.
You did. Speak on that, though. Elaborate on that for us.
All right. So when I went to help. I network a lot. I went to help for a few places. And, I had this dude. They said, hey, I can help you out, get you to the next level. And I'm at a point where I'm successful, but something just wasn't, I needed some structure. I needed to get to the next level. I know how to bring money in, but you need money to make money. But I knew how to make revenue. So, however, I brought them in. They seen everything, and I was looking for about $500,000 to clear some old debt and take my company to the next level. They were on board. They seen it, but then something happened where they raised money. They wanted a piece of the company. And they was trying to have me sign documents as an employment agreement that I could be fired as a CEO for a lot of different avenues and reasons. So there's a time I think we had about 100. I'm gonna disclose some financials. I think we had about 130,000 in the account, and it takes about $2,000 per day just to keep the company going. The operation we had on. He was a CFO and a COO. And I didn't know that was a conflict of interest, having the operations person in charge of the finances, but I'm looking at him as a older white guy. He knows what he's doing. He's rich, he's successful. So I need to follow his suit. And he also had a bunch of other guys around the table that was board of directors and bring some finances to the table. With that 130,000, he cleaned out the account and paid a bunch of unnecessary bills that we didn't need. And then he was like, yo, Jeff, the account's about empty. Are you gonna sign that agreement now, or for now you out of business? So he kind of put my back against the wall, and that's when I was like, whoa, something ain't right. So I had an emergency meeting, found me an attorney with the Black Chamber of Commerce, found someone. They laid it out. They said, hold your breath. They sent you up to your company. It don't look right, because they had some coins saved, and I was able to use to get some resources to keep the company flowing and keep it going while I figured it out. So I started turning the tables, and I started taking control of my company again. I got a new board of directors and to come over and help out. And I used the Black Chamber of Commerce to use those things. And some of the guys who was weaning out, reached out and said, you want to make sure you got a diverse board. I'm like, wow. When it was all white men, they didn't say anything about having diversity. But when I brought some other black men on that level, they told me I need to be diverse. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of crazy. And it took me and when it goes into racism, I'm looking at it as like, I thought I wasn't as smart as these guys, because I'm looking at the older white dude with, you know, a nice car. He knows it all. Kind of find out, you know, watching those some of those podcasts and Dame Dash interviews. I'm like, wow, these guys were there because they knew I was smarter than them, and they wanted to see how they could capitalize off of me being a nice person and know how to generate revenue.
Exactly. And see a story like that, and like you mentioned, you know, a Dame Dash interview, you know, that's a programming that, you know, Black and brown people have, like, you know, white is right. You know what I'm saying? When in fact, like you said, you were the smartest person in the room. You know what I mean? And they were just trying to, you know, leech off of you pretty much. You know what I mean? And just to hear stories like that, that helps with the reprogramming, because we have to know our value. You know what I mean? When we walk into a room, it's like, you know, the Hove line, you know how to move in a room full of vultures. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know how to do it.
That's why I heard Dame Dash was trying to say why he's so ignorant, why he talks so much. And he's like, look, man, I'm like this because, you know, I thought, you know, I found out smarter than everybody else who was trying to play me and try to take everything from me, not knowing I was that guy. So now I know I'm not as confident as Dame is, you know. When you're the smartest man in the room, man, you can put your chest up high and head high a little bit.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. Well, from where I'm standing, bro, you have all the reason in the world to put your chest up high and do your thing, dude. Like, you are a serial entrepreneur, man. Just run down just a list of the things that you've done in just the past 10 years.
Oh, man. Personal chef, farmer's market, corporate catering company, janitorial services. I own the coffee shop, do defense contract work. I tried to do a small TV series to try to get that picked up. I shot that. I paid for the budget to get that done myself. Products, my own knife line. So you rocking the chef, you know, the chef.
Yes, sir. Yes, right, sir.
Yeah. Appreciate it for the design on that.
Oh, you already know, bro.
Designs.
You already know.
What else? Selling medical supplies. Doing IT. I'm doing IT now. Doing some IT stuff. Doing network program. Man, what else have I done? You know, my guy, I always got my hands in everything. Oh, on the restaurant. On the restaurant, of course. And now, you know, focus on feeding troops across the nation. And we just won our biggest contract ever 2 days ago. It's weird because, you know, I feel good, but it's like, it ain't my first bottle of champagne to pop because I've been doing this. But we got awarded a contract feeding detainees across the United States border. It's about a $208 million contract.
Big congrats, bro. Big congrats, man. That's what's up, man.
And look for, you know, of course, I'm looking for other mentorship, bigger companies who've been doing it, and make sure my growth is not, you know, I scale properly while I'm growing.
That's what's up, bro. Like, bro, salute, man. I definitely got to tip my hat to you, bro. And the fact that you still have humility after everything you just, you know, rattled off, man, like that's incredible, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Keep going, man, for sure, man. So look, man, that's just, you know, that's another reason why I wanted you on the show so bad, man, because you're a great example of what it means to just keep going. You know, you've dealt with different things along the way. Talk about some of the lessons you've learned, because we were touching on this in the last interview. You know, people who strike out to, you know, they want to become business owners, they want to become entrepreneurs. They think they're going to get rich quick. They think they're going to get the bag quick with no work really involved. Like, everything is just going to be smooth sailing. And they have no idea what it's like to just get it out the mud, pretty much. You know what I mean? Please speak to that, Geoff, because you know better than anyone the type of obstacles that you face. But like, what was some of the biggest lessons that you learned along the way? Man,
I'm gonna look at it like this: like when they with two phrases. One phrase is like, you don't get your feet wet or jump in the water. Another phrase is like you tread in water. All the above. So if you really got in, if you're really all the way in, it's cute to say you're an entrepreneur with a 9-to-5. That's cute. But when you all the way in and you don't got, besides put your foot in the water, actually jumping all the way in, you're going to be bobbing a little bit. You're going to be bobbing like this. You're going to be treading. it's gonna take you a while before you can swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
My biggest thing is you got to be confident in front of people, but you also like in front of people. You know, people may say, "Oh, you cocky, you flex." It's like, no, I'm confident because I got to be confident because when you have your people that work for you, they want to know that you know what's going on. When you have customers that's coming to you, you got to be in control of the situation, know what you got to have going on. But when you have all that, you still got to go to a big brother in the back and be like, "Hey, man, I need some help. How can I get to the next level? How can I not mess this up?" Right? Never be afraid to ask for help. That was one of our biggest things. If it's financial help, if it's mental help, whatever kind of help it is, you got to be, you could be at a point where your company is financially struggling to make payroll, or you're going to be too embarrassed to go and ask for help to make sure you got payroll going so you can make that next bag, or you're going to let everything fail and walk away.
Right.
So, we got to, and other entrepreneurs and business owners, we all been that route that we know where you're coming from. So somebody comes and say they need some help, you already know because you've been there already, and we all help each other up.
Yeah. No, we definitely, mentorship is definitely something that's vital. That's something I had to learn the hard way because I wanted to wear every hat and do everything, and we spoke on this also, like just about not trusting other people with your brand and with your level of work ethic. It's tough, but it's something that you have to implement, or otherwise you're going to drown in the water. You know what I mean? You're going to have all the weight on you, and when you can't delegate, then it becomes too much. Yeah. And I definitely, I'm still learning that. Like I'm still trying to implement those things within my businesses. But again, you're a great example of, persevering and putting the right pieces together, man. So like, well, for one thing, like I knew you made it when I saw you interview Mark Cuban. I was like, oh, my guy made it. He's interviewing Mark Cuban.
It switched around because they actually had me as a guest speaker at on the panel. I want to talk to him one-on-one, so got some, gave me a mic, said go ahead. But I was a guest panelist for Mark Cuban as a veteran entrepreneur, and it's like wow, to have a crowd of a few thousand people in the room and listen to my story, it was dope.
That's lit, bro. That's lit. Nah, man, I was like, oh, my guy is out there. He's doing it, man. But no, honestly, bro, I was really, really, proud of you and just really just, super happy when you started your restaurant. That was like, that was amazing, because I had, we had kept in touch, after we left high school, when I was in DC, you know what I mean? We was always keeping in touch, but we never linked, but I was watching the moves you was making, and I'm like, man, Jeff is just on his job, you know what I mean? But when I saw you put together your restaurant, that was amazing, man. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, just what you remember, what you went through, the whole restaurant experience, the Admiral's experience.
Wow, man, the grind was hard. First, had to raise capital. And then I found out a lot of people want food trucks, right? Mm-hmm. And when I asked them, I was like, why you want a food truck? They say food trucks, they say, because I want to get a restaurant one day and it's, it's least expensive. I was like, have you ever looked at the cost for a restaurant? 9 times, I never met a person with a food truck that actually cost out a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Mentally, they already know that's where we at. Mentally, it's like food trucks are cheaper. But actually, restaurants are cheaper than getting a food truck.
So like a brick and mortar restaurant is like cheaper than a food truck?
Oh, remember, wow. The food truck, you owning that food truck. You're buying it, you're owning it. You're spending almost $100,000 getting that up and going. Right. $50,000 on the low end. Restaurant, you're paying for first and last month rent. It's like leasing an apartment.
Yeah, true.
You can make whatever you want to do inside of it. You get a turnkey restaurant. A turnkey restaurant is one of those restaurants already got the stoves, the kitchen. You just walk in with a key and keep it going.
Okay.
So I did that. So I had a budget. I got that going. I had that restaurant turnkey first last month. Then I started putting some money for improvements. I want to make it right. To this day, I don't. People think I was rushing to get the doors open, but to get the doors open, man, you got to remember when my money I had to start it ran out, there was no more money. Mm-hmm. I needed to generate revenue so I could start paying the people who was there. So I'm
Got
like,
you.
man, how do we get this door open? I learned a lot in dealing with employees, taxes. Um, that's one big thing, man. When you talk about taxes, man, a lot of times we start up first and we figure it out later, man. But a lot of other people I know,
I'm still figuring it out.
yeah. So the employee taxes and IRS taxes, those are big deals.
Yeah, man, they are. They are. Gotta have your taxes right. Can't have the IRS on your
But
ass.
but one thing I never figured out how to do is run a restaurant successful without me being there. And
Mm.
I asked other entrepreneurs, other restaurateurs, and nobody ever give me the answer. Like, hey man, how do you get this? How do you get it running smooth and not be there? And everybody's like, oh, I never got that answer. Even
Yeah.
I told other chefs, I know how to get a menu going now, fine without me being there. Like right now, I'm feeding people in South Dakota. I'm in Barstow, California. I'm in Alaska, San Diego,
Wow.
Ohio.
Wow.
I'm
And
in
you
some,
don't
yeah.
physically have to be in these
No,
places.
no, I have
That's
menus set up, recipes,
that's
and
dope, man.
yeah. But it's nothing spectacular about the menu. And I got people I trust.
Mm-hmm.
And crew out there, I sent a lead person. The lead person manages the crew, and I got faith in that lead to make sure everything goes right. But we're feeding over 500 troops a day in each location.
Wow. Salute, bro. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That is dope. So would you ever want to get back into the restaurant game again? Would you ever want to like have
Oh,
a flagship?
I'm going to get back in there
There
because
you
I
go.
love entertainment. I'm going to get back in there. Um, but it got to be simple. It's like a lounge somewhere they kick you. Like people know me around town. I want like a place where everybody know that we go to chef spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it got to be simple. It got to be cool.
That's dope, man. Looking forward to that, man. And you already know, hit me for the branding, man. I got you.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to do the branding for the Admiral's experience, but
Yeah.
we got to trust the process, man. And we linked on King of the Kitchen gear, which
Yes,
is
sir.
which is dope.
It's doing all right, man. It's doing cool. It's doing good.
Yes, sir. Switching topics for a minute. We dealing with COVID right now, bro. We dealing with this pandemic, man. How has COVID-19, if at all, affected your revenue stream and just overall, from a business standpoint, what do you see happening as far as just business and entrepreneurship in general as it's being affected by this pandemic? Because everything is changing. The way restaurants and stores and the way business is conducted, period, is just completely being, flipped on its head. So what do you feel like? How do you feel about what's going on right now?
Man, it's just crazy because this pandemic stuff is everything I'm against. Like I always tell people, go out and get it as a grind, as a way to make money. You go out there and clean the street. You do something to make money, but like everything stopped. Everything's still, and it's a weird situation. But it's bringing out the hustles of some people, but it's also you gotta make yourself pandemic proof. Like if you want to, it's tough. You look at what kind of business you want to open, what kind of hustle you want to start. You got to think about what you want to do. Is definitely have people think out of the box. For me, myself, it stopped about 40% revenue at first for me. One of my sites in the East Coast, I feed as a schoolhouse, and the schoolhouse, they went virtual, So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out other ways. And, we held on tight, figuring out other little jobs and, still getting by. Yeah, I hustle more now than I did when I was in the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I found different hustles. had the t-shirt line, safety equipment gear, a few other things. I'm doing consulting, helping other people out, getting their business. So it's, I'm more busy now during quarantine pandemic than I was when I wasn't.
That's dope, man. And I think your next shirt should be you pandemic proof. I think that need to be your next shirt.
Hey, I need maybe to make that for me, man.
Yes, sir. I like that. I like that, man. And that's that's the true sign of a real entrepreneur. You're not gonna let a pandemic stop you. You're
Yeah,
pandemic proof out here. You're
and
not
I
gonna
like
let it
that.
stop
I
you.
like that.
Yeah, man. That shit is dope, man. That's what's up, bro. And you can't life has to go on. You still gotta make money. You still gotta feed your family. We just got to get it in more creative ways. I mean, that's a part of the reason why I even started this thing, because I feel like everything shifted. So I had to shift too,
Yeah, that's fact, man. You got to shift. And I'm also getting to the music business too. So I'm going to put some money out there and see what happens, man. I really always want to be, I'm not talented, but I always love music. So.
Hey, man, you talented on the business side, brother. Definitely make something happen with that, man. So let me just ask you, bro, you're a father, I'm a father. How has fatherhood impacted your drive and motivation as an entrepreneur?
Man, who I'm doing this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
who I'm doing this for? I'm doing it for them. I do it for my kids and hustle. I tell everybody I'm with all the time, like I'm in Cali and you're in Cali also, right? There's a lot of like multi-million-dollar houses. We drive down the coast, you see all these multi-million-dollar homes, right? I'm like, man, it's like not one or two. It's like, hundreds of multi-million-dollar houses.
Yeah.
So my mind is like, what did their ancestors do to have that long money, to have that generational wealth? Maybe some of that stuff is, we could say we're oppression, got a slave, but no matter what, we got to just go past that. We've been oppressed and we've been held back, but we got to keep fighting and be persistent and pushing on it and say, hey, how do I take myself to the next level to make generational wealth? I don't actually cook anymore, and I told somebody I would never get to a point where there's somebody that would pay me to be a chef. I'm past that. They said, why? I look at it, the most I see somebody get paid is like $240,000 a year, right, as a chef, and that's working in Las Vegas, the best restaurants out there, working 7 days a week, 24/7.
Damn.
I can't create generational wealth at $240,000 a year. I can't have my great grandkids touch it,
Facts.
And I try to teach other entrepreneurs is the less money you make at first is the more money you can make it a little bit. So right now, I might have a chef where I pay them $60,000 a year, and I'm making $5,000 a year off of that person. But now I can get to a point where I have about 30 of those, and now I'm making $5,000 for each. But I know how to manage each one of them.
Right.
So you take a little bit out of the pot at first, little bit. You make a little bit of money at first, but you can stand back and you can look at the process and you can delegate.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually have your hand on it, it's kind of hard to create that generational wealth when you actually, got your hands on.
Yeah, and that's the key, bro. Generational wealth is how we break the cycle. That's how we have a foothold, in real equality. Like when my wife is from the Bay Area, she's from San Francisco, and I was living in Richmond for a little while, and we would be in San Francisco all the time, and we'd just be driving around, and I'm just thinking, the wealth, like per capita in San Francisco or in Silicon Valley. And, just like you were saying about the houses on the coast, not a couple houses, like whole neighborhoods, multi-million-dollar homes, generational wealth, or new money coming in Silicon Valley and whatnot. But we gotta get in there.
Yeah. You got to, and that's what we're doing it for. You got to do something, and you got to figure out how can you be one of those homes, right? And how can you bring somebody in? People ask what I'm doing for Black Lives Matter. What I'm doing is I'm creating a platform for other people with generational wealth. I got to break the cycle. You know what I mean?
Speak on it, Jeff. Speak on it.
You can march all the time. You can talk about it, but you can't go back to the house and smoke weed and be like, I'm tired of my job. I quit, and just worry about how do I stay in the projects. I go back to the hood. People in the projects. I'm talking about 3 generations. Your grandmother was there, and then he passed the projects down to their daughter, and then that kid, and They say, hey, don't make X amount of dollars. Make minimum so you can stay in the projects. Like, you know what I mean? Where we're coming from with that. You know, so a lot of times we get pacified by the welfare system because they don't want to see us grow. But now you got to get out of that, figure out how you go grind generational stuff. Everybody not built for it, but there's a few people that could do it. And I always reference a lot of greats like Puffy and Dame. Puffy got a mixtape a while ago. It was called Money Making Mitch.
I remember that.
Money Making Mitch, and I love that.
I remember that tape.
He tell everybody, like, imagine if Mitch uses street smarts and became the business world entrepreneur. How far to go? Because most of the people, we gotta look at the I'm gonna go street. Most of the drug lords, right? I know people that I grew up with, they still nickel and dime selling.
Yeah, right? Me too.
They still nickel and diming. But there's other people who became kingpin. Those people who came up and became that money making Mitch, they got something. They was born with something different. They knew how to take bigger risks and go to a different level. So if one of those people that was born, I really believe as a boss, you're born with it. And there's nothing wrong with being a worker because we need them to get to the next level.
Yeah,
right? But
facts.
If you had that money making Mitch and you showed him the corporate world how to hustle, he probably would have taken that to the crazy next level.
1,000%.
But we not taught that, and that's why we need more mentorship. And I try to be a mentor as much as I could be, and show these guys, like, look, man, that hustle and ambition can go anywhere. They can go from making a Fortune 500 janitorial company, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but, man.
We got to hustle on it.
That's real, bro. That is real. And the mentor thing, you being someone with experience who's willing to pass that experience on, that's what we don't have. Like just in Black culture in general, even though take it to hip hop, which is a direct correlation to, the streets, it's flash, it's getting a bag, but it's fast money, it's fast money. What that's a product of is a mentality of lack, because historically, we don't come from anything. We come from poverty, so that isn't preached in our neighborhoods and our schools, even within families. It's not. It's like you said, like, don't make too much money, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the mentality of lack. So we have to change that. And brothers like you are absolutely doing that, and I salute you, bro, because you could, get the bag. You could be a serial entrepreneur and not want to tell anybody shit. You would want to get your money and go to the hills and chill, but the fact that you're willing to pass that information on is a beautiful thing, man. So I absolutely salute you for that, bro. And, we need more Black entrepreneurs like you, setting an example and passing on that knowledge, because I'm an artist, bro. Like, I wasn't ever, ambitious as far as being a business owner. Yeah. But it's, I see now that's where the real power is, and I know I can do that. I've done it, like with the dope ones, like I did it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people got to realize. Just because I never planned on having a business myself, I was like, I'm not passionate about business owner. But if you want to make your own rules, exactly, right? You gotta boss up, because I'm not living by their rules. I'm not going to a 9-to-5. I've been an entrepreneur for 11 years now, but prior to that, I had no desire to do that. I thought I was going to get a nice job at like a design firm or something. You know what I mean? I had no idea any of this was going to happen. But now that I'm here, I want to do more. I want to expand. I want to branch out, go all the way in. Hell yeah, bro.
How do you feel when somebody tell you they're an entrepreneur also, but it's not like they trying to leave their 9-to-5. They're just like, yo, I'm a serial entrepreneur, but they have a job. How do you feel?
I don't think you're a serial entrepreneur if you have a 9-to-5, because you haven't taken that leap yet. You don't have enough confidence.
It's cute. It's cute. It hurts a little bit, like you kind of playing me, because you know where you're coming from. I don't know where my next dollar comes from.
Right. Exactly. It's like you diminish the term entrepreneur. You're not. If you have a safety net, then you're not in this lane fully. You kind of veering over a little bit, but you're scared to jump in it fully.
Yeah.
Like, I jumped out there. I had nothing. I was living in DC, living hand to mouth, broke. and decided like, fuck this, I'm gonna get on my shit and be an independent contractor, a freelance graphic designer, and I'm gonna earn the type of living that I want on my terms.
Yeah.
And it was a process, dude. Like it was a crazy process. And then when I started this, you know, I pretty much lost everything in the process of building this up. Like, you know, I had a nice.
But we all do that, and you get passionate about it. My company is the same way, you know. I remember, you know, sleeping on sofas and not having gas money, but everybody thought I had it, you know. So perception is everything. You know, when I'm catering, I was doing catering jobs, and I had to close a deal, and I have to go out and mingle and have drinks, and maybe even pop bottles. I'm not paying for any of it. But I'm around it where they're paying for, they're having bottle service and they're drinking. I'm trying to build a rapport with them so they could cut a check with me.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get gas money to go home. But the perception, everybody's like, oh man, you got it, you be bought. I'm like, nah, man, I'm trying to network and rub shoulders with the right people so I can get a check.
Yeah, so you can be balling like that on that level. Yeah, man, and it's like brick by brick, you know. You got to just build a foundation, man. That's real, bro. So what has been like your most rewarding business endeavor, if you will? What's been like the most fun or the most, like the most rewarding, the one that makes you feel, you know, the most proud of?
I don't know, I have so many areas, man, but just I guess it's proud that I'm actually getting paid to do something I learned when I was in the military, cooking for troops. It's a great feeling, like, you know, we feed people in the most rural areas.
Yeah.
You know, it's my baby. You know, the company alone is my baby. I could have walked away from a few times, but you know, I'm proud to know that I took the company to where it's at right now.
You have something that, like you said, is your baby, something that you kind of cultivated and, you know, went through every emotion with. It's like Nipsey said, you know, when he set out to, you know, do his label and do the clothing line, he went through every emotion, but he didn't stop. And now you're at a point where you're doing multiple contracts in different areas of the country. You don't even have to go there. You made it, bro. You the American dream. You know what I'm saying? You Black excellence defined, bro. And you should think nothing less. And it's like you were talking about, you know, people asking you, what are you doing for Black Lives Matter? So something I spoke on a previous episode with my homeboy Mike, do Where's My Tacos. He's a foodie out here. We were talking about the Black Square, right? Everybody posted the Black Square on Instagram, you know, and it just kind of became a thing, you know what I mean? And I still think like it's cool, like it served a purpose, you know, but I noticed you don't have the Black Square, but I know why, because you are the Black Square in every one of your posts, you know what I'm saying? You the Black Square.
And I also look at it, it goes deeper than that, because we posted on somebody else's platform, right?
Yeah.
Somebody else's platform. I mean,
that's real.
It was so deep, and we were supposed to do a blackout. July 7th was supposed to be blackout day, right? And I'm like, all right. I just came back from Vegas, and my fridge had went down. I ain't had no groceries, right? So I'm like, okay. The following day, I lost my laptop. I bought it. I'm like, damn, I was about to buy a fridge. I'm like, oh crap, I'm about to spend like $3,000 in Best Buy, but I can't spend money today because it's Black Friday. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna chill out. I get a fridge tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll just hold it down. I'm like, okay, damn, I get something to eat, but I'm like, damn, my gas is low. What I'm gonna get gas from?
Saw that story.
Right? Where I'm gonna go buy gas at, right?
I saw that.
Like, I'm gonna have to buy groceries for the house, but where I'm gonna buy groceries at?
Right.
I don't know no Black-owned grocery stores, right?
Right.
And even if it's a Black-owned grocery store, the products that they're getting is not from Black-owned producer. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Factories, right?
Yeah.
We still put money in their pocket because it's not Black-owned factory.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I went to the Black-owned restaurant, but then you go to Black-owned restaurant where you buy their stuff, they're buying their stuff from a white-owned facility. So you still putting money in their pocket. So there's no way to really black out.
Really get it. Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So
man.
if you go back and you watch Killer Mike got this series, and it's Killer Mike's show.
Trigger warning.
I think the second episode, first and second episode, he talks about being buying black, riding a bicycle. Like, you know, he had nowhere to sleep. It was rough.
He slept on the bench. He slept.
Yeah. So he's in the biggest black great city in America, and he still couldn't go without buying black for 3 days straight to make it.
Yeah.
And, it goes deep. So I'm like, man, we really gotta step it up. Even if even the shirts we're doing, I'm like, man, how do we get deep and actually make the cloths of it? Because a lot of us do this. A lot of us, put the designs, put the stamp. I'm like, okay, how can we get it to we actually making some threads?
Man.
Yeah, we got to think deeper into it. Like, how do we do that? And another point I want to get on, I was talking to my boy about it, and he's a very popular, famous person. He's on a podcast, and he was like, well, he said, buy. No, he's not saying buy black. He's saying buy the best product, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa. You ever notice sometimes you go to black restaurants and they burgers a little more expensive than everybody else? Like, yo, like why is it so like why y'all jipping us?
Yeah.
But in fact, it's not. They're not jipping.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about it. I'm gonna bust it real simple for you. I only got $10. I want to do a lemonade stand, right? And I buy my bag of lemons at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
The lemons probably cost me $2.99 a pound for these lemons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bust it down. I'm selling to you for $1. I'm after the cup and everything like that. I got to get the cup and all that stuff. I'm buying it from the grocery store because that's where my money can take me.
Right.
And I'm probably selling for $1. And I'm probably making 20 cents off of each cup of lemonade. You got the person with the old money. They go into the big factories and buy 1 million pounds of lemons at like 2 cents a pound.
Yeah, wholesale.
$1.99 a pound. Now they putting all their money together and they're buying a crazy wholesale.
Yeah.
They can sell it for 50 cents and it's only costing them 3 cents to make it. So now they making like 40 cents off of that lemonade, right? And you making 20 cents off of it. Everybody's like, I'm not going to you because you jipping us. You trying to get over on us. I'm like, hold up, man. My aunt and cousin who give me a couple $100,000 to get my business going. I'm source I have in my pocket, and then we ourselves because we say, I'm not going to spend that on this because you spending too much money. I'm spending too much money. No, you got to look at the as a break even point as a profit margin. I can't have myself that low because I don't have the mass quantity to have this other person quantity to do it. But I wish other black folks looking at it like that, man.
Yeah, no, that's something that Nipsey talked about was like vertical integration, cutting out the middleman and going straight to the source. Not going through someone who's going to take a larger cut so that your margins are smaller. Like what you're talking about is exactly right. Like the profit margin being as wide as possible because you go straight to the source. It's like in Blow when George went straight to Mexico to get the weed. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. But you have to have the connection. You have to have the money. So I have to get with like 10 other lemon stand folks and be like, yo, let's put our money together and get the wholesale. Right?
Yeah.
And not be crabs with each other and be like, we gotta work together. Let's put our money together and let's buy this together and then we can divide it up. Because in Chinatown, what you think they're doing?
Yeah,
when they boats of rice and stuff like that.
They pooling their money together.
They put their money together, getting a wholesale, and they can sell cheap and make more profit than we can make at our high price.
Facts.
But then we cripple ourselves because we go on social media like, oh man, the black business is always trying to rob, and then we're not that knowledgeable on how to do business anyway, because most of us are first generation business owners.
Yep.
So we first generation business owners, and I ain't had nobody teach me about taxes, about customer service the proper way, how to do SEO websites and all these things. I'm just like, hey man, I'm just trying to get it, and I'm gonna learn as I go. These other folks, they parents and grandparents already had a system set up and they know how to do it. Right. So instead of going to the black establishment and seeing how jacked up they are, go to the owner, or how are you going to help them out? How are you going to help them stay in business? How you go to the manager and be like, hey man, I have a resource for you. Let me help you out. I realize, A, B, and C wasn't done, but how can I help your company out? Get some, pro bono help.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing, like resources, like we don't seek out enough resources because like you said, we are first generational entrepreneurs and we going out on a limb thinking it's one way, but it's really so much more involved. And like, I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, let's put our money together and let's start a t-shirt factory, bro. Let's go get some print machines. Exactly. Let's go make some shirts.
Yeah, let's go.
You know what I mean? For real, man, because my situation now is cool, but it's not where I want it to be just for what I'm paying per shirt. I need that margin to be way higher. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like my price point isn't even that crazy. you know, like, but I want to be making much more per shirt, but I'm not because I got to go through the middleman, you know? So I'm all for going to the source and being the man, you know
and
what I
being
mean?
stores because I think so. I said something. My shirt was like $25. He said, "Man, I could go down the street and go to the flea market get a shirt for $10, man. Why I'm gonna spend 25?" I'm like, wow, like it's always something. It's always like,
Always.
hey, because these person buying 10 million shirts at a time, and
Right.
we can only get what we can get where our money can take us.
That's facts, bro. That's facts. But that's all the more reason to get it ourselves, like to have it ourselves and to be in those positions where we're the ones who are the source, you know? And that's absolutely true, bro. Absolutely true. So just kind of piggybacking off of that, what are the main lessons that you've learned thus far in business, and what has helped you to get to where you are now and to make better business decisions? You spoke on mentorship. We just spoke on getting it from the source, widening the profit margins. What are some other key points that you would give to like an up and coming entrepreneur? Just some tips to kind of like avoid certain pitfalls that you weren't made privy to when you started.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
You want to trust somebody, but you want to go ahead and verify what you trust. You still gotta know everything, and can't give. I've been wrong. Gave everybody 100% trust at first. I'm a trustworthy person, but everybody doesn't have the best intention. And some people may say that they did something and they didn't do it properly, or they didn't do it at all. So you want to go out there and verify. You always want to circle back around, and you always want to work on your leadership skills, no matter what. Every day when you wake up in the morning and say, "Hey man, how can I be a better leader? How can I be a better boss?" And those are one of the things. And we talk about mentorship, the finances, and trust. I think those are the biggest things.
Yeah, those are great points. Those are definitely great points, and that's something that I deal with. I have serious trust issues, just in general. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to business and my brand and my money, is even more. It's compounded, But you definitely have to vet people, because you definitely have to bring other people on board. Lastly, I want to talk to you real briefly about your thoughts on investing, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying about just COVID affecting everything. What are your thoughts kind of on like investing like during the pandemic? Because it's something that like I'm trying to get into. Like I'm just learning more about the stock market, and again, white money. A lot of it is generated through stock market, as well as real estate. But what are your thoughts on just investing, and especially right now?
I have a few stocks, but really, man, invest in yourself. That's my biggest thing. Like when I'm in Vegas, when I'm gambling, I put all the money in myself. What I mean? I may bet through some side bets with some people, but I'm going all in on me. So if you want to start something, if you got some money, and if you have an idea, I would say put that money into yourself. You know what I mean?
I like that, man.
Bet on yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I love that, man. Invest in yourself, man. I mean, if it all goes bust, you only have yourself to blame. So why not put it all on you?
And on top of that, when you invest in yourself, kind of look for investors, and you show them what you've done, and they see that you threw all that money or your personal money into investing in yourself, they're gonna know you really about it. You're like, all right, you done put time in already, you put some hard work in. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you gotten investors?
Well, I've had plenty of lenders. Talk about it. It's like I've had people lend me up to over $200,000 at a time. I need some money, and I got to know how they've seen what I've done, and it's all about money. So if I say I need X amount of dollars, I'm gonna show them how they're gonna make X out of profit X amount off of what I'm doing.
Where you're at now, if you were to jump into something like you said, like the music industry, for example, and you had an idea set up for something, would you seek out investors for something like that?
Well, I'm using my own money to invest into artists.
Okay, I got you.
Learn to trade, so it might blow, it might not. So I'm gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, man, definitely. Well, Geoff, I really, really appreciate this, man. You've given us so many gems, bro. So many great points. I gotta salute you 1,000%, man, because you're really doing your thing, and you motivate me. I'm sure you motivate your circle, and I just, want to wish you nothing but continued success. Keep going, keep pushing. We need to talk for real about, this manufacturing of these T-shirts. You know what I mean?
Because we might have to get a Dope One studio. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, man. That's the goal, bro. That's the goal for real. Because I do contracting for other companies. I brand other companies. Like that was my first business, was branding, other grassroots companies and whatnot, and I just happened to kind of get into this T-shirt thing, and it's been good, but it could be way better, it could be way better. So, you are absolutely a motivation to me and many others, I'm sure. Let the people know where they can link with you, how to get in touch.
ChefGeoffCole.com, ChefGeoffCole. You know what I'm saying? So at Chef Geoff, at ChefGeoffCole.com for my chef merch and King of the Kitchen, King of the City gear, Instagram, Facebook, everything. All right.
And remember, bro, we got to do that pandemic proof. That's the next one.
That's the next one. That's me.
That's the next one, bro. But look, bro, appreciate you. We're gonna tap in soon, man. Much love, bro.
Much love, man. Take care.
Peace. I just want to thank my guest, Chef Geoff Cole, again for being on the show. Great interview. Really appreciate you coming on, brother. And you can get in touch with him at Chef Geoff Cole on Instagram and ChefGeoffCole.com. Shop with him. King of the Kitchen, we are kings. He has a lot of great stuff, a lot of dope stuff. I was blessed to be able to work with him. He contracted me to do his design, so salute to my guy, Jeff. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode, man. We really appreciate the support. Again, thank you to my guy, Damian Barling, for bringing me on board with the Be Heard podcast platform. Truly appreciate it, man. Please tap in with us. Thank you so much for everything. Please stay safe. COVID is still real. Please stay safe, you guys. Please wear masks. Stay home. Just be safe out here because it's still real. And tune in next time for another episode of the Dope Ones podcast. Peace and love.